Okay, we are live now.
Awesome.
Does it let me to like share the link anywhere?
All right. So,
Okay.
are you, so I guess
So,
we're
ladies
ready
and
to start.
gentlemen, yeah, I'm gonna start then.
All right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, today with
So,
Lions Talk with Mr. Den, I call him, and Izzy 777. We're gonna just do Lions Talk, I guess. And Izzy just left. So, Mr. Den, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. How about you?
Yeah, I'm just doing fantastic. My debut today, and I didn't think I was gonna like pull this off, but I did.
I'm
So
excited, man.
yeah. So firstly, like, what did you think about the Lions and Rams game, like last Sunday?
I think it was polar opposites for both me and you. So, for the Rams, it was our worst game of the year other than Arizona. But for Lions, I think it was like their best game of the year. They were they were like super close to beating the Rams. Like if Jonah Jackson, for example, like he doesn't get hit, if he doesn't get beat by Donald on that one play, then Goff throws that touchdown and it's a one score game and we just need a field goal. Or, like it was super close throughout the game. Or even AJ Parker. If AJ Parker doesn't get hurt, Cooper Cup doesn't get 150 yards on you guys and two
Oh
touchdowns.
yeah,
So, like, this game was like really close. Now, luckily, since Stafford's really good at fourth quarter comebacks, and or even just being down, we were able to kind of pull it off. But a lot of things were going to. The O line finally had themselves a really good game. They haven't had a really great game since the Packers. So good job for you guys there. Khalif Raymond was finally like able to do stuff. It was definitely
finally.
a productive game, and honestly, even Goff had his best game I think of the year. I mean, San Francisco was a pretty good game for Jared, maybe even Green Bay, but this was probably his best game because he literally neither of his turnovers were his fault, but he actually wasn't he was being safe with the ball and he made some nice plays. Granted, I think the game honestly really would have been a win had Anthony Lynn called a better game. Like,
Got it. So me, I actually did not get to watch the first half, like I mentioned on the video that I posted, but I did watch like the highlights yesterday, and the first half impressed me so much. Like we were far better than the Rams. Like first half, like I think probably it's because we converted the onside kick and then the fake punt. Maybe that's why we had more time with the ball. So the play calling, especially like the Swift touchdown, like the way he just sprinted and just got the touchdown, that was like a grown man play, I felt.
mm-hmm.
And then the second half, which I also watched, we just disappeared. Like I don't know what happened. Do you think it's because of the play calling of the offense or even the defense like did mistakes? What did you feel about that?
I feel like it was a mixture of a lot of things. Like, there's football is not an absolute. Like, there's not only just one thing. A lot of times, like, even when a kicker misses a clutch field goal,
Oh yeah,
like it's not only just on the kicker. The team also allowed said points, but there's definitely crucial things. So, like for example, the Lions did allow 28 points, and they did allow Cooper Cup to have 150 yards and two touchdowns. That isn't lovable, you know. Like that kind of hurt. I think, but I think overall it was definitely Anthony Lynn because Anthony Lynn um, just did not feed the hot hand when it came to the run game and should have ran the ball a lot more. Jamal Williams was having a great day against a fairly solid defense, ranked
hmm
ninth in the nation, and he just did not run the ball.
yeah, true. I think the Rams also didn't run the ball that much.
Yeah, we didn't. Well, it's because you guys had such a lead on us. I
Yeah,
think it
yeah,
was
exactly.
13-3 and to start the first half. I mean, for a good portion of the first half, something like that. So we were behind most of the game, so we had the pass. And if Anthony Lynn, and also I even say if the defense played a bit better, the Lions would have won that game. It was way too close to comfort for me.
Yeah,
But
like the play when we like intercepted the ball, like the very last play, not very last play, like when Jared got intercepted the first time. Like I feel like if we had scored a touchdown that drive, we could have like won the game. or maybe lose with a field goal, like our story has been.
Mm-hmm. It's always been a couple plays. I mean, which is honestly a testament to how good of a coach Dan Campbell and just maybe how much of the coaches are because they've put themselves in situations. But it's always just a couple things, which is an amazing thing to see out of a rebuild. And so during a rebuild, you shouldn't. It's an amazing fact that you guys are able to keep up with a supposed Super Bowl contender like the Rams,
Hmm.
and you're able to basically come back every game. I mean, let's also face it; they also should have beaten the Ravens. Even I mean, this is a
Oh,
team that's
it's PTSD game.
yeah, like they've been in every single game and been very close to winning. I mean, like
Yeah,
we,
exactly.
like, stuff like that happens, but there's a lot of positivity you got to take from this. I mean, that's why I tried to issue. That's why I tried to go with the neutral record when I made my season predictions for the Lions
Hmm.
because I didn't think it was that predictable of a team. But I also said you got to like have no expectations other than the team being competitive. And so far, this team has been competitive in every game but Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's true. And maybe the Vikings game also is there. I mean, the defense showed up big time that game, but the offense was just not click. They were not just clicking, Like at the end, we scored touchdown when I think like Jalen Reeves got the fumble,
Yeah.
and then we scored. But yeah, that was still a close game, so I understand your point.
Mm-hmm.
So I have my first question that I would like to ask you is, so what are your thoughts on the Detroit Lions season so far? Are you disappointed or no reaction?
No reaction because I didn't have expectations for the team other than to be competitive. I guess if anything, I'd be satisfied. I guess kind of. I mean, I was kind of hoping that we beat that they'd beat the Bears. I kind of thought that was a game that they were going to win. Maybe even San Francisco because I'm not a big fan of San Francisco,
Hmm.
but I didn't necessarily think that there was any like guaranteed wins other than like I said maybe Chicago. But overall, I also didn't anticipate like a lot of things before the season started. Like I didn't think Tyrell Williams would get hurt. I didn't think Cephas would get hurt. I didn't think Ragnow would get hurt. Like there's been a bunch. I think the Lions have 15 players on IR right now, something like that.
Yeah, I think so. I didn't even check. So many injuries.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of injuries that like I didn't see coming. But overall, the team's been showing a lot of promise. So like every single rookie the Lions have drafted has at least shown some form of promise.
Hmm.
I mean, I can't really say iffy, but iffy is like I did one game
Yeah, yeah.
to do something, so you can't really like make a judgment there. But like Sewell, I mean, other you take out the Chicago and the Vikings game, he played really good. Levi, he's shown promise as a run stuffer, and he's even been taking up some double teams. There's one really good play I really liked from him where he kind of like just shoved the lineman away from him. It was like, wow, it was a great move. Ali McNeil's been a fantastic nose tackle. Amon St. Brown is starting to develop some chemistry of Goff, but I'm not surprised. I mean, he was getting covered by Jalen Ramsey, so there was no way he was going
Hmm.
to make any form of production last week. But and then you got Derek Barnes, and Derek Barnes has just been amazing, man. I mean, that
Yeah,
guy's
he
already
really
like
has.
he's only got to start like week 3, and he's already like got 27 tackles.
Hmm.
He's been pretty solid in coverage, so not to
So
like.
did you think we would be 0 and 7 at all? Like, did you even have thoughts about it, or you thought, okay, you guys would have like 3 wins at least?
Um, I I thought it could have happened, but I didn't think it would happen. Is what I would say.
Yeah, me, I didn't think like for 1% that we would be down 0 and 7. Like, seriously.
Yeah, I think half of it's just been unluckiness because I think literally like what me and your thoughts about the Lions have been kind of completely true. It's just been unluckiness. I mean, let's take just kind of a little bit of a review of the season. Week 3, I think this was probably the closest that came to winning. You got the Baltimore Ravens game.
Hmm.
They not only lose on the 4th of 19, but they lose because of a miscommunication on the 4th and 19. And not only that, a record-setting field goal that hit a goalpost.
Exactly.
So that should have been a win right there. All right.
Like, what else bad luck do you need?
Yeah. And then you got, let's see, was it week 6? Uh, it was the Vikings game. Vikings game. So you get the forced fumble, and you have a lead, and you get the 2-point conversion versus the Vikings. And then the Vikings make themselves on near career long of the Vikings career field goal, but it was also in the same weekend where there was the most missed field goals in history in a single week. So the Lions have been pretty unlucky. They should at least have 2 wins, and they were super close at beating the Packers too because they had that good lead, but then got kind of blown up by 2 turnovers.
Yeah, and the rain also affected that game, if I'm
Yeah,
not wrong.
the rain
And
the rain even caused the crucial fumble. So
yeah, and the Bears game, I don't know, like how many chances do we need it like to win that game? That game just like nothing worked out, like the fumble, and then we just couldn't score, you know.
yep,
And
and
also
that's the
just
thing, is that's what you got to expect out of a rebuilding team. I mean, a lot of the things that like was hyped up for the Lions this year just has not been there. So for example, the O line, everyone thought it was going to be a top 10 O line. I even had it as ranked 8.
yeah, same here. I thought we would like top 10 at least, or maybe top 5. Oh, maybe over expectation, but still, we got Sewell and then Decker, so why not hope high, you know?
I mean, all the hyped up parts of our team have been injured, so I mean, we can't do nothing
Yeah,
about that.
Exactly.
exactly. That was the point I was going to bring up. I mean, everyone was hyped about the O line. Decker, Ragnow get hurt. And then you get the move Sewell, who practiced his entire offseason at right tackle and hadn't even played an entire year. Had to switch him to left tackle, and then you had to put the right tackle as a converted defensive end, and then so then you had to put in a center who's been a journeyman, hasn't even started an NFL game,
Hmm.
and that's your line now. Okay. Then the receiver core, Tyrell, the player everyone kind of thought, okay, this is going to be the number one guy. He's going to open up things for Hawk and Swift. He gets hurt like what was it, a quarter into the game,
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah, the
and then
contact, like the big hit from Tart, I guess, on
yeah,
the
I think it was Tart.
yeah, that was a big hit, and I remember EA saying his tire was flopping. Like I laughed by reading that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Izzy, what's your reaction on the Lions season? Are you disappointed or no reaction?
I'm not disappointed, but like I'm surprised, I would say. Like honestly, I did not expect what almost all of our starters being injured both on offense and defense. I expected um, the offense to run a different way than it used to because it used to be like I could understand, oh yeah, we can't run the ball all the time because we're going to be down a lot. But the last few games aren't really the case to where we can and have the ability to run the ball all the time and pretty efficiently. And they just, for some reason, want to go to Goff, which he's been a little bit underwhelming so far, mainly
Yeah,
because the wide receivers and play calling and whatever.
exactly. I feel that maybe we're like using golf like how we use Stafford, kind of like we're making him throw too many times. I don't even think he threw that many times when he played with the Rams in like 5 games in total. I
Yeah,
think the Niners game he had like 50 attempts, if I remember correctly.
that's correct.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
So
I get it. I get that. That's when we had like a super non-efficient run game, but now we have a pretty efficient run game, and we're still throwing it with a offensive coordinator that was supposed to be run heavy.
Yeah.
mhm.
Well, and that's one of the biggest reasons why the Lions have been bad. I mean, I think a lot of people just want to go and blame like a player, but a large reason I think the offense has been bad has been Lynn. I mean, the Rams game is a perfect example of why Lynn is a bad offensive coordinator right now. I mean, what Jamal Williams had 5 yards per carry, nearly 5 yards per carry. He was
Yeah,
doing
he did.
good. All this, he's in the red zone, and what does he do? He throws the ball, which then causes a pick after Donald destroys Jackson. Which, by the way, Jackson played really good that game. I mean, only to only get beat by Donald twice is really impressive. But
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the play when it was 4-1 and we ran with Williams again? It was a total failure. Like I don't know what was wrong with the blocking that play. Like it was so bad. Or we should have just kicked a field goal, like everyone said. Like, but of course it's Dan Campbell. Of course he was gonna go for it.
I mean, there are many times where I seen like these times where we had to get 1 yard, and we just run it up the gut, and it's like that hasn't worked the first 5 times. Why are you trying it again? It's like
Exactly.
With the wrong
you
running
only
back,
have
too.
exactly.
Like, they keep
Like
using Swift for those plays. Like, Swift is not a power back. Like,
No, I
they
mean
should
he
be
can get through
outside
the
runners.
tackles from time to time, but he's not that reliable at that yet.
Mm.
and the play where like the 4-and-1, I think they used a rookie tight end to like block like the linebacker or something, and he failed completely. I mean, we can't just blame him because he's a rookie. So, or maybe that's because, like Easy said, like we have too many injuries and we had no choice.
Yep.
No, I mean, like, where has Darren Fells been?
Oh right, yeah, I
He
forgot he
had one
existed.
catch. Like, I was like, oh wait, he plays for us. One catch, boy, for like 8 yards.
Yep.
We'll probably not
And,
see a
well,
catch for the next like 5 weeks too.
yeah. Well, even Hawk has disappeared in a way. I mean, he finally got back into groove last week, but Darren Fells was always kind of supposed to be more of that blocker slash solid, iffy kind of guy at getting yards. But
Darren
even
Fells
Hawk,
is just like a solid end zone, red zone threat too, and
yeah,
I
Hmm.
haven't seen him a lot in those packages.
they haven't really run red zone threats at all. Like they've been playing a lot of shotgun in the red zone.
I mean, yeah, that's where Goff was pretty comfortable playing in LA and all that, but it's like
Sure.
I believe they could, or Lynn could structure his offense a little bit better to suit what Goff does. Because you're
Mm.
not going to just win a game on 7 yard curls and 5 yard out routes and shit.
Well,
Well,
like you,
yeah,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
No. Well, actually, I think the perfect example is Matthew Stafford. Um, Everyone kind of knows that Stafford was always like really good at those deep throws, right? That was
Mhm.
always kind of his thing. When he was allowed to like sling it, like versus the Bears last year, when he was allowed to sling it, he killed it. But since he had coordinators and coaches that wanted him to be like this Tom Brady-ish kind of guy, he was held back, and that play let him held back.
Mhm.
But also with a team like this, um, Goff isn't allowed to make mistakes, just like how Stafford wasn't allowed to make mistakes during the Patricia era.
Yeah,
That's the big issue. And then when a team is bad, then you really highlight when the quarterback is bad. So like
exactly.
Patrick Mahomes, he has a 19% bad throw percent quarterback rate. And now everyone's like, oh no, he's having a big regression season. This actually has been happening the last 2 years. And
Oh
so
yeah,
it's
the
just, the fact
negative
is,
comments about him all day, like, oh, now that's what happens when you pay your quarterback 500 million and
mm,
stuff like that.
yeah. But the truth is, it's actually that's just because he's had a bad throw percentage his entire career. But now his team isn't as good. His defense is doing absolutely terrible. His
Very.
line is not playing up to expectations, and so everyone's just highlighting it on Mahomes. It's somehow Mahomes is the issue now, and so that's even though it's not the truth. I mean, quarterback can hide a lot. I mean, just look at um, Russell Wilson in Seattle. I mean, that guy hides a lot of issues over there, but they also cannot carry a team and mask everything.
One
Exactly.
other thing about Mahomes, that game against the Titans, I watched the whole thing. The dude played super cocky, and he got fucked over because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah,
Like he
sometimes, yeah,
wasn't.
he really does.
Yeah.
There was like 2 forced fumbles where he could have just thrown it away, but he was trying to like be Magic Man and do shit. But no, that doesn't work.
Hmm. Well, and like even with my point earlier about like what we had with Stafford, I'm actually making a video about Stafford and the Sean McVay plan. But with Stafford, I've actually noticed something. He's not playing entirely different in 2019. 2019, they're basically on pace for the same season, but they're getting different win loss records. It's just Stafford's allowed to be Stafford now. He doesn't have to be Superman and have 350 yards and 3 touchdowns like he did versus the Bears. Now he can just play good, and if the team's behind, he can be Mr. Clutch Stafford. And so that's led to us being 6-1. Now it's been a bit closer than I'd like as a Rams fan, but we're getting wins, and that's because Stafford is someone that I think is explosive, and but also because he can able to recover even if he is playing a bit, iffy.
Yeah, I don't know like what happened in the Cardinals game. Like they just got destroyed completely. Like I mean they're 7-0 for a reason, but I really thought Rams were gonna destroy them completely, but the opposite happened.
Sean McVay, didn't adjust, and also it's
There's just way too much talent on that Arizona team. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And I also feel maybe like Kyler is like getting the correct pieces that he needs, and which is credit to the like front office. So my next question I'll ask both of you is that so which player is your MVP for the Lions? I'll start with you, Izzy.
damn, that's a hard one.
How about anyone from defense or offense? You can pick either.
Um, I
I'm
I'm
gonna say
gonna,
Derek Barnes.
I had a feeling you were gonna pick the him only.
Like, okay, it's no coincidence that like the moment he was brought in, that the defense played like, especially the linebackers just played a lot more better. Okay, just saying. On defense, it'll be Derek Barnes, but on offense, I'd say Swift, since he's been the only really reliable player on the team. So, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, for me, defense, I think like the way Anzalone is that you said, I guess. Like he stepped up like after Collins left. I think he deserves like big credit for it. And yeah, Derek Barnes, I think is top five. And who's the guy like tall cornerback, like who like switched from safety to cornerback? I keep forgetting his name.
Bobby Price.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's also like playing really well. MVP maybe not. And for offense, like Izzy said, like Swift by far, like the way, like I think he went like off versus the Ravens, which led us to the comeback. And I think Jared Goff also is like top five. And I mean, I might sound like stupid to some people for that, but I really think like because completely new team for him and new pieces, and I think he put up decent numbers compared to like what a rookie would put, to be honest.
Yeah.
So same question for you, Mr. Den. Like, which player is your MVP?
So for my MVP for each side of the ball, offense, I'm gonna actually have to go with a different answer than I'm gonna go with Jamal Williams. I mean, that guy has been the most consistent run carrier. I still think he's averaging 4.4 yards per carry right now, and he's been the reason the run game has actually been as efficient as it has been. Swift's been decent, but he's not been as effective as Williams. And so now that we got like a solid run game, it at least keeps that edge over for our run game, which is nice to have. For defense, it's a tie for me between Tracy Walker and Alex Anzalone. But I think I'm going to go with Tracy because Alex did have those first two hard games, and I do think Derek Barnes has been part of that. But my biggest reason I'm going to go with Tracy is Tracy's evolved from being like a mid-tier safety like last year to now he's literally a top 5 safety. I mean, this is a guy who has just been popping off. I mean, he's what he made the clutch play that Alex Anzalone got that pick versus was it
The
Minnesota.
Vikings, I think.
Minnesota? Yeah, it
Yeah.
was Minnesota. I couldn't remember if it was the Bears or Minnesota. But he's got about 38 tackles. He has 2 for loss, a quarterback hit. He got on that pass deflection, which led to an interception. He's allowing only 9.6 yards per target. He has a 52.6% completion percentage, career high. He only has 183 yards allowed in 7 weeks. He's doing fantastic. He's literally just evolved himself. And there's the non-stat thing that you might see is also him just literally not allowing coverage or allow his way that quarterbacks won't throw on Tracy's way. He's made plays. He's been clutch. I mean, I think you could make an argument for Alex. I mean, Alex has been producing, but I do think a large part of it is like what Izzy has been saying. He now actually has a good linebacker mate with him in Derek Barnes.
I think Tracy Walker also deserves credit for playing both safety positions because we have one player who just doesn't show up. So who is always late to
No,
get.
no, no, no. Will Harris finally made his first ever NFL tackle last week, so give him credit.
That's true. Will
I
Harris
saw him
really
wrap up.
shot up.
I generally screamed in surprise when I saw it. He wrapped up.
I think if Will Harris like ever got to tackle like how Micah Hyde did to Derrick Henry, I think Will Harris would get 5-year contract like at that time right away. Okay, so I'll move on to the next question, which might sound a bit controversial. So if the Lions finish like badly, even 0-17, hopefully not. I really hope not, or even 2-15. So after that, would you move on from Jared Goff or keep him, add more pieces, and give him another year? I'll start with you, Mr. Den.
It depends on how the year goes. I mean, it's more of a game on game basis. I mean, if Jared Goff does good for the rest of the year, kind of like how he does versus the Rams, just no fluky turnovers, then no. I don't think Jared Goff could ever be moved on from, but I think you could draft a potential replacement. I mean, you owe too much money for this next year to per se do that. But I'm not a big fan of this draft class. So I honestly think I might just wait a whole another year and just build that team for a future quarterback. But um, I do think it's like I said, it's such a hard question to answer, depending on how it does. Is Goff the reason we lose so many games? Like a game that I think you could argue was a large part on Goff would be like the Cincinnati Bengals game. That one was a pretty frustrating one for me, but I could see why we could move on. But I think if you're pick number one, you gotta go probably either Aiden Hutchinson or Kayvon.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Well, because I don't think there's a quarterback worth taking at one. I mean, I was kind of thinking maybe Malik Willis at one point, but then he had 2 straight games of 3 interceptions versus nobodies, and so I was like, okay, well, it's not him. Sam Howell, he was hyped up a lot last year, but he's really struggled without Diami Brown and Daz Newsome and his 2 really good running backs, and so you probably got to go with that edge player at number one. So I wouldn't go quarterback number one.
There isn't a quarterback in this class that I can say I would want, really.
Kenny Pickett, man.
Like,
Kenny Pickett.
Maybe only
I
like
like him, but
Wilson.
he's 20. He's gonna be 24 before he takes a snap, and that's a bit concerning.
It's true. With age comes wisdom,
But
man.
like for instance, like the front runner for this is, I believe, Corral. Yeah, and the popular front runner, and like I don't see like a lot of like NFL quarterback starter potential that I can like rely on a consistent basis. So yeah, no on this class.
I
Who's
wish
the
Royce
guy that
O'Neal
was supposed
exists.
to be like number one pick quarterback from Oklahoma, and now he's like third round pick? Who's that guy? I
He's
forgot.
been absolutely shit.
Spencer Rattler, man.
I think even Mr. Den hates him. Like he has been saying since day one. He's cocky, he's not it, and now you're right actually.
Yeah. I never liked Rattler. I looked at film one day because everyone told me, and I had Brown Center who's like an Oklahoma fan. He's like Spencer Rattler's going to win the Heisman, so I'm like, all right, all right. So I go look at film, and I hated everything about him. I was like, this guy does not play good football, and I'm like, this guy's not going to win Heisman. And not only did he not win Heisman or not be worth number 1 overall pick, but now he's benched for a freshman. So I guess I was
Yeah,
right
which
there.
is terrible. Even EA was like bragging about it, like how he lost to a freshman and the freshman was good.
Yep.
And then so how would you build this team now? Would you like add more pieces to the offense or defense, or like distribute both equally on the next 2-3 years? I'll start with Izzy on this one.
I'd say because obviously the needs on offense, as far as like what we could get right now, is wide receiver, and I'd say mainly just wide receiver now because our running backs, our offensive lines, decent enough so far. On defense, safety, obviously, corner. I wouldn't go linebacker. I would just like re-sign Anzalone, obviously, and then if you want to, like, let's say we get the first overall pick, which you would have to pick Thibodeau or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, if we get to pick him, I don't mind at all, because I think that would make our defense like top 15 for sure. And our pass rush now is like pretty decent. I watched the highlights of the Rams game, and we were getting lots of pressure on Stafford. Even I think Mr. Dan would agree on this. And
Yeah, I mean, you have McNeil in his second year, Onwuzurike in his second year, the Okora brothers, Flowers probably, and then if you get Thibodeau, that's like you have an absolutely stacked D line.
yeah, definitely. And the injury prone like Deshaun Hand, like has he even played anything this year?
No.
Like, why not give him
He's
another
not going to be
5-year
on this team
contract?
next year, so I'm not concerned.
I think
The
this is
thing
the
with
last year, right?
Hand,
Or
the thing with Hand is like when he plays, he's pretty decent. But I feel like a fan's cheering, a fan will cheer for him and be like, "Yeah," and the freaking air from that fan would break the man's collarbone. Like the man is glass.
The
Dude,
vibration from the shouts will tear his ACL.
I know it's insane.
I think his only highlights was like stripping the ball from Dak Prescott and sacking Aaron Rodgers like 2 times.
Yeah,
His only highlights till now.
it's because those are the only games he played in.
True. Even in the practice sessions, he gets injured more than like I get injured.
Yeah.
And then Austin Bryant also, like, I think like he made history by not getting injured any time this season.
Oh well, now he's getting hurt, bro.
And like he shaved his hair, maybe that's like working as a good luck or something.
I don't know, man.
So would you say our offense is not reaching expectations because of like terrible wide receiving core or Anthony Lynn?
Do you want to go with
I
this?
think I think there's blame to go all around for the offense, except maybe the running backs. Because, okay, your offensive line, two of your best players, let on the offense in general, are injured. So, yeah, there's a loss in production. You have your supposed number one is out for an unknown amount of time. His replacements aren't doing so well. Jared Goff, when they are open, is really going for his first read rather than processing it in like a full manner, which also could be blamed on the offensive line. And then Anthony Lynn, because it's really been a very passive offense of short throws and all that. And like, I get it. You don't have the greatest wide receiving core. Your offensive line is injured. But you could try to do at least a little better on getting these guys open more deeper rather than getting them open 3 yards in.
100%. Like my biggest thing with this offense is, like there's 100%. Like I agree with what everything you just said. Like there's a blame. There's even blame to go on Goff. There's blame to go on the O line, Lynn, the receivers. I don't. I think also maybe even blame of injuries, like losing Tyrell and Cephas, probably hurt a bunch. Um,
Hmm.
Decker and Ragnow, like those were not things that we all thought were going to happen entering the season.
Like, who would have thought we would like put up a good fight against the Rams without Frank Ragnow because
I
he's
did.
the best O lineman.
I'm just saying. I called it in the Discord, man. They
Like,
called me a madman.
yeah. Even I expected like destruction, like demolition, but nothing happened.
I,
Like,
hon- I I
Did
had
you?
faith in Aaron Glenn enough to know that we weren't getting blown out.
Hmm. And you guys
true.
were honestly doing a pretty good job until AJ Parker went down.
Who's that again? No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I
Let's
think
go, bro.
and
Our fifth corner injured, I think.
is he better than Slow Kuda?
I think just about anyone is.
I think I remember Mr. Den like convincing me like David, he's not slow. Like
But
calm
he's
yourself.
not. He runs the 4-4.
Well, he might be slow after that Achilles. Yeah, I think it's
Probably.
Achilles.
I think I remember EA said yesterday. I'm so
You
sad.
jinxed him.
I do not get to see Okuda getting burned every game. I just laughed after reading that text.
I mean, in Okuda's defense, we only got to see him in like half a game. So who knows? Maybe he could
Yeah.
have evolved better, kind of like how Amani did. Amani started out the year really, really, really bad. Like I was like, holy crap! How did I ever hype this guy up?
True.
But but then he kind of recovered as the year went along. So maybe Jeff was just a bit rusty from not, kind of getting used to the chemistry. Kind of, even Alex Anzalone. Alex Anzalone, like everyone was dogging him. I dogged on him. I called him Alex Anz a zero to start the year.
I think
And
Ramsals was calling him out the most.
yeah, dude, Ramshouse hated that man. But like Alex, like now this man's like popping up. So like weeks 1 and 2, Alex in coverage, 9 targets, 9 completions, 105 yards, 1 touchdown, 152.3 passer rating. Weeks 3 through 7, 12 targets, 7 completions, 58 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, 36.1 passer rating. Just so you know, you'd have a higher passer rating spiking the ball every down now, targeting Alex A. And then he's also become a good
Hmm.
run stuffer. I mean, and even solid pass rusher at times. He's like completely evolved. He now has
Yeah.
44 tackles in 7 games. He had the 1 big tackle for loss and the 2 quarterback hits. So he's evolved and gotten way better. So who knows? Maybe Okuda does that, but I'm not willing to not draft a cornerback at all or sign a quarterback at all.
Oh please no.
So
No, I meant that. Yeah, please don't draft cornerback again with top 5 pick. Like I get PTSD by thinking about 2020 draft.
Derek Stingley #1, baby. Let's go.
I
Yeah,
think
if Derek Stanley didn't go down with like a season-ending injury, I'd be like, he looks pretty good. Just saying.
so. Would you be down to trading the #1 pick and like getting more picks and move back to like 5, 6, or 4? Like, would you be down for it? I'll start with Easy.
Yes, if it's possible, because like besides Thibodeau, I don't see really a player that someone would trade up to #1 for. Really,
That's true.
it's kind of like speak of the devil, the year we drafted Okuda, like no one was going to trade up for the 3rd overall pick there.
Even the
Mm.
Dolphins knew we were gonna pick that guy. Like that's why they didn't trade up. Same with the Chargers.
Yeah, and like in this case, there really isn't a whole bunch of talent to move up for.
I
I'm
think they
just saying
knew.
though,
Yeah,
like I'm
I
kind of
think they
grateful
knew
we
Bob
didn't.
Quinn is an idiot. I think they knew that too.
Hmm. I'm just saying though, I'm kind of grateful that we didn't get Tua because Tua's basically playing as bad as Goff with better players. So very happy about not getting him.
Oh, of course.
But of course, I've
I'm
been
also
told that we should
happy I'm
trade a
not
first
getting
for him.
Justin Fields.
Dude,
Oh yeah,
Justin
like
Fields. Oh,
I think you both were
I
like,
I
yeah, go
genuinely
ahead.
feel bad for him.
You're saying something, David?
No, no, I was just saying, easy, go ahead. Like, he's right. That feels like it's getting no help. Like, I remember against the Packers, he took a massive hit. Like, I think he was like on the field for 5 minutes.
I think so.
And I think Mobby wanted him. Like, he was like, how do you not get him? We would have him and then Panini Sewell. That's how he pronounced it. And I watched his live stream.
Wait, how could we gotten Sewell and Fields?
I think the
If we got the
Panthers trade.
Carolina pick,
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
Carolina trade, yeah,
Oh, okay.
which we
Okay.
would have just got the 8th overall pick and
And the
Jared
seventh.
Goff, because Teddy Bridgewater isn't doing good anyway, with better talent.
Yeah. Man, I'm gonna sneeze.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm genuinely surprised of how bad the Broncos are right now.
yeah. Like 3-0. Okay, we got this now. Back
Give
to
me all that talent, please.
Dude, imagine having Jerry Judy, Cortland Sutton, and you got what's his name, KJ Hamler,
Noah Fant.
no fan. Yep. And
Tim Patrick.
what's the
How
running
are they
back's
not
name?
killing it?
Like,
I was so shocked when they lost the Browns. I was like, because their entire team was on IR pretty much. They were starting Case Keenum.
Oh,
Anyway, yeah,
oh,
back to the
the Broncos lost that game. I thought they won. Wow. So we play the Eagles next this week. So easy win or don't know because we are the Lions. What do you think, Mr.
I'll
Dan?
let Dan take this first one. I have some comments that are
Sure.
unsafe for them.
uh, sorry, I accidentally sneezed. What was your question?
No, I was just saying that. So we play the Eagles, the Detroit Lions, and at Ford Field. Hopefully, good crowd that will be there to support us. So, do we get our first win there, like easy win, or we
I
don't
think
know?
we get a win. I mean,
Okay.
yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna keep we. I'm still pretty much a Lions fan, but let's let me pull up some Eagles stats real quick from my side here. So first off, the Eagles are 2-5, and they have a puppet as head coach in Nick Sirianni. And then their defense is basically as bad as ours. It ranked 24th in the league, and their offense is ranked 18th.
Their
Okay,
defense also given up the second most points in the NFL, I believe.
yeah, second. The only other team that gave up more points is the New York Jets.
Yeah.
So let's put it on the count. And then you also got the fact that they're missing Lane Johnson potentially. He was just resting. And they also, and the thing is though, what's the biggest thing that's been killing the Lions this year? The run game. It's easily been the thing that's been killing them. The pass defense has actually been pretty decent. But guess how much the freaking Eagles run the ball? Barely. Miles Sanders,
0.
yeah, like this guy, like he kills it. He has 4.8 yards per carry, but he only has 63 attempts. He only ran the ball 2 times versus Dallas, 9 times versus Tampa when he had 6.2 yards per carry. Like this team doesn't run the ball, and Jalen Hurts is not having the world's best season because he's being force fed to throw the ball with a terrible line, and his only good receiver at all is Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith is like meh. Like this is a team that we could definitely beat. I mean, Jalen Hurts is the only reason that we should have any fear. But for crying out loud, the Lions had done a good job against mobile quarterbacks. Justin Fields didn't have a score. He had an interception and a fumble. Lamar Jackson, he only had one touchdown, bad completion percentage, and he got picked off by Amanio. We do good against mobile quarterbacks. So now you're putting up Jalen Hurts with an even worse team than both of those guys. I legitimately think this is a win for the Lions. They just need to make sure that heaven help me, that they're consistent. They need to be good in both halves, and they're going to win.
Yeah, that's our biggest like wish. Like, please be consistent, both halves, not just one. Okay, now Easy, you can. It's your mic now.
I have honestly very few times in my life watching football have ever seen a more confusing, stupid offensive scheme in general than what the Eagles are running. Like there's this video by JT O'Sullivan on like Jalen Hurts' play. You should go watch it. It's it's disgusting to see, to be honest. Both his play and the play calls. It's, I think that since they aren't going to be running the ball anytime soon, we could just really not truly have to worry about it and just start blitzing them pretty much. And Jalen Hurts, looking at the film, hasn't had success behind that offensive line. B, panics almost worse than Jared Goff when he has somebody in his face. And I think it'll be pretty simple to shut that offense down. Their defense, I'd say, running the football will be pretty effective against their defense. Passing it, they do have decent pass rush and all that. So, meh, secondary. So I think this is a very winnable game, to be honest. I just don't see you had to bring out a specific type of bad game plan to lose against the Eagles right now.
I mean, if Anthony Lynn is the OC, maybe anything is possible. But to be honest, like when I heard the name Anthony Lynn as offensive coordinator, I expected big things, not just like, not this for sure. But unfortunately, the negative stuff happened.
Yeah. I was thinking the offense in total would be like 17th. I was thinking Goff would kind of like be nearly 4,000 yards or around it, 28-ish touchdowns and like nine T's. I was thinking, big seasons from the running backs, big seasons from the RBs, but then of course the receivers got hurt, and then the line got hurt, and then that caused Goff to start not trusting anyone, and so that's why whenever he's under pressure, he misses the receivers the 2 times they're open every game. So it's been frustrating.
Every game, like I see like 1,000 pictures of this guy was open, that guy was open, he's open, he's open. Like it's just been our season all day, like all season. It's just like this.
My big thing with Goff this year is Goff has like these amazing moments, like Chicago, but then my biggest issue is he also has like these moments, especially when he's having a struggling game. So the receivers don't get open most of the game, but then when they're finally open, like the 2 plays, like versus Cincinnati, then they just sucked. and then he just missed like 2 clear guys. I think it was Hodge and Swift. Is that what was correct versus the Bengals? Was that the big one that everyone talked about?
Oh, the fourth down throw?
Yeah, was that it? Was that Hodge and Swift? Or was that Fells and Swift?
Either of those two, but in general, that was a horrible decision by him.
Yeah. And so, like, look, it's just so frustrating because sometimes he just misses out those crucial moments.
So Nick says that I wouldn't put all the blame on Anthony Lynn. The talent level of skill players on offense is pretty bad. So I guess we can agree with that as well.
Yeah, and I'm not saying like he's a shitty coordinator and that he should be fired or anything. I think that he could just do a little bit better to make this offense a little more effective.
For sure. Like when Jared Goff came in, I expected something like the Rams offense from 2018-19, like the year they went to Super Bowl, like play action and then like run, 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 and then play action, play action. Basically that, but like they did try offense like that, but just didn't doesn't work anymore, I guess.
Yeah. Well, my big thing is that yes, there's talent, but there's also a lot of scheme he was missing. Like Izzy shared that one thing on that Discord. I remember it was like that specific Rams play that your friend in that Discord was talking about. He could scheme up a lot more, but like the thing that's so confusing with me when it comes to Lynn is he's really scheming heavily to get Raymond open. The 5'8", 185, can't do contested catches, not great release. That guy over Amon-Ra St. Brown, and even when Cephas was around, he was choosing him over Cephas. I don't. I just think it's just been a lot of a scheme. He plays too conservative. He should be playing a lot more aggressive, and that's the issue. It's just like Goff. So everyone acknowledges Goff's not all the issues, right? So, but the issue is it could be better. Is the issue? It could be a little bit better than it was, and they're not helping, and that's the issue with Lynn. Lynn's being the issue of not helping and making situations worse. He's making Goff seem worse than he is. He's making the O-line seem worse than he is. He's making the receivers look worse than they are. I'd even argue the running back, since he doesn't give him the hot hand. And that's the issue, is he's bringing down the team a little bit more than it should be, whereas I think the offense would be more. I don't know if you guys remember this. The offense was ranked 12th for the first two games. We had the 15th passing offense and like the 11th rushing offense. So this team had
Yeah, I don't
potential
know.
to be good.
hmm Yeah, like against the let's say the 49ers, that offense, especially at the end, obviously, was actually pretty efficient, and it was actually taking shots and scheming people open. I don't see a lot of that in there. Yes, we had Cephas, but it there hasn't really been an attempt to replicate a more aggressive offense.
Well, and St. Brown has been productive at times when they have tried to get him involved. Like when they tried to get him involved versus the Bears, St. Brown was freaking fantastic. Like he was playing just as good as Cephas, even during Minnesota. It's not like Cephas was like Calvin Johnson. So like I don't know why they just like are relying so much on Raymond.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the miss throw to Browns on the like Bears game was like a killer. Like I really thought we were gonna like come back, and then just even Jared Goff was like in hot form, like in that drive, and just that play, everything just gone away. So what's their schedule like? I forgot. We play Steelers and Browns. Like it's getting harder again. Like it's not getting any easier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see the Seahawks as a possible win, mainly because Geno Smith is their quarterback, and yeah.
And they have Jamal Adams.
I think
Oh,
Philly,
obviously the
Chicago.
best safety in the NFL. I mean,
He's the best in the nation.
I think Philly, Chicago, Minnesota, Denver, Atlanta, and Seattle are all winnable games. Not guaranteed wins, not like definitely gonna win. But like I think those, I can even see Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's having a really bad year. They're 3-3. They're last in their division. The only game that they really like played fantastic in is the Bills, and they nearly let Geno Smith beat them. So like, it's not like the Steelers are even like the scary team that they were last year.
That sounds like funny and weird that the Steelers are last in their division. Like when did we ever hear that? I think Bengals, I think first right now, since they like beat the Ravens, like destroyed them, not just beat them.
they're first in the conference, I believe.
Oh wow. Or the Titans. Your Titans, I mean.
No, unfortunately, we lost to the fucking Jets. But let's forget about that.
I think Saleh like became 10 years younger after that game as well. And remember, like I think Izzy will remember, like we wanted Saleh as the coach, and then like we see that, oh, he's on Jets now, and then we were disappointed. But then we see Dan Campbell, and then we see, okay, we're gonna bite your kneecaps, and then we just worship
He
this
was
man.
an afterthought.
Actually, you should. I actually was like the only guy that wanted Campbell over Salah. Like I even like made a little comment and posted Dion's like I'm like, dude, get Campbell, because like I used to follow the Bills pretty heavily. Like I was a huge Josh Allen guy, and still am.
Hmm.
And Dan Campbell, like that man turned around Miami. Like Joe Philbin was like Jeff Fisher bad, but man, that like he made that team go from what was going to look like a 2-14 team to him going 5-7 as a coach, and he had a 2-game win streak. Like that made me know I was like, that's a guy who's now been groomed by Sean Payton to be a head coach, and apparently he has this good old staff plan. Go get Dan Campbell. And bam, we hired him. I was so happy.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Like I keep saying this, we are the best worst team ever. Like so many I think except a few games, the Bengals game, like Mr. Dan said, like we have been like competitive, like almost like not all the time, like pretty much all game, and we almost won a few games, especially the Ravens one. It's just like it could have gone either way. Like how much bad luck you can have, like especially the 66-yard field goal
It's,
Hmm.
it's insane.
and the
Yeah,
Niners game. Yeah, go ahead, Izzy.
like with Campbell, he's actually you can like see that he's game planned properly, and he's also called certain plays and certain uh, fourth down and fake punts and fake kicks because to go with that game plan. I think the Bengals game is where he had his like really first, I guess, bad game to where him and the coaches really didn't really make a whole bunch of in-game adjustments to stop him because they couldn't. So yeah, he's been really good for us so far as an overall coach.
Better
Campbell's
than
been
Patricia
fantastic.
for sure.
Like
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Dan.
I legitimately believe that Campbell is leading this team. He is making this team like the reason it's competitive. I do not believe. I believe there's maybe 5 other coaches that would make this team competitive. Dan is not. Dan's been successful. Has been successful with trick plays like how we had versus the Rams. He's been aggressive. He's apparently he's been using analytics because he's been saying that like the numbers say to do this and that. So he's out here motivating players. He's got analytics to start getting like to know when to go for it or not, or was the right play or not. He's out here just like getting good players. Every single player, besides for Will Harris, has improved. I mean, it is insane.
That's not shocking too. You mean, right?
Yeah, like I mean, even Big V went from like probably the most hated player in his team because he was so bad to now he's a top 5 guard in the NFL. Like that does that not how dare you call him Little V? But he's out here playing really good. Like even that guy is doing a lot better. This team like it's showing growth. Like I mean, you're making like Alex Anzalone, the guy who was a rotational linebacker in New Orleans, balling out. He's made Derek Barnes
Hmm.
ball out. That's amazing.
And I think for Derek Barnes for his size, he's quite fast as well. Like we have to also like see that as well.
That's why I was like foaming at the mouth for him in the preseason.
Yeah, I remember like the pick made Luke G like jump, like he was crazy. Like he was celebrating like Lions won the Super Bowl. So like now we know how like why that reaction came. Like he's a beast for a fact. So do you think we should add like maybe one more good like pass coverage linebacker like Derek Barnes or Anzalone? What do you
Uh,
think, Izzy?
I think we got decent depth and starters at linebacker. We shouldn't really need to invest much capital on that specific area, especially with the defensive line hopefully developing into a pretty decent to really good group that should like help the linebackers play even better. I think we should just focus our capital on corners and safety.
Yeah. Well,
Got it. And so this is like not a Lions question, really. So do you guys think the streak of Lamar Jackson and the Ravens of 100 rushing yard per game is ever gonna end? Like it's just not ending. like, it's like bound to happen, right?
um, let me look at their schedule real quick.
Because I think it's including him and the other 5,000 running
If it
backs they have.
includes Lamar, yeah, then it'll keep going.
Like until like there's a guy who's a Browns fan. He posts on YouTube all the time. Like the hate he has on Lamar Jackson. Like it's just
I've seen
comedy.
him. Yep.
He's so funny. He's like if the Ravens pay like Lamar, that means they're the biggest idiot in the world.
Yeah, probably not, dude. They're gonna get running in. The remaining schedule is the Vikings, the Dolphins, the Bears, the Browns, Steelers, Packers, and Rams and Pittsburgh. And only Pittsburgh and Cleveland are super good run defenses.
Well, not Minnesota. They're not good in run defense anymore.
Not amazing. Let me pull up PFR real quick. I don't trust it to death.
Because when you like hear Minnesota, the first term comes to your mind is great defense.
That's how it's normally been. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's one of Zimmer's things. That's one of the reasons I
Exactly.
actually like respect Mike Zimmer.
Like if he had a better offense in like the year Eagles won the Super Bowl, like I think they would have won the Super Bowl because their defense was number one and their offense was who was the quarterback again? Case Keenum. So imagine if they had like Cousins back then or any good quarterback. I think that's like easy Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I general it could have been, but like the Eagles were really good
Yeah, no
then,
doubt.
so yeah. Like I think that year Carson Wentz was like playing borderline MVP levels of football, so it would have been pretty hard to stop that, especially with even if the offense they have now and last year.
Can't believe like the Eagles that won Super Bowl 3 years ago. Now we are like saying, oh, the Lions will beat them easily.
Yeah.
Like it's just like the franchise is like it's like a sorry ass franchise. Like that's how you can say it.
They have
Yeah.
Nick Sirianni as their head coach.
True. I think like what's his name like on the show? Like the one with Skip Bayless. What's the guy's name again?
Shan Sharp.
Yeah. He even like made fun of like Nick Sirianni like on his Instagram, like the way he was talking. Like, so we have a plan, we have a process, we have this, we have that. Like that press conference made like everyone laugh almost.
Hmm.
So I think we have been over 1 hour now, and we can like go 5 minutes more. So
All right.
so for the Detroit Lions, I think the next season is a bit easier than this season, like the schedule wise. So hopefully, like if we get to add a few good pieces in the free agency, best time in Lions history, and on the draft, if Holmes can kill it, I think we could like expect playoffs again. What do you guys think?
Do you want to go easy or me?
Aren't we? Hold up. I think we're facing the. I know we're facing the AFC East.
Yeah, we do. We host the Bills and we host the Dolphins.
Oof.
The Bills game gonna be nice. Like I wanna see how Aaron Glenn goes up against Josh Allen.
That's going to be an interesting one. But as far as playoffs, that was the question about next year.
Yeah, like should we expect playoffs or like not really?
I don't think you should expect playoffs. I think You should expect probably a 5, maybe like a 8 and 9 or 9 and 8 season,
Yeah, I
around
was
that 500 range.
yeah, I was gonna. I thought you were gonna say 5 wins. I was gonna start laughing. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked because this season, like we all know how it's going, so you never know. And Mr. Din, what do you think? I mean, you're not our fan anymore, but still, your opinion matters.
So I actually think the team can really. I think there's always a potential for everything. I mean, there's every team
Mhm.
can go from worst to first. Stuff like I did not see the Bengals being 5-2. I mean, did anyone else see the Bengals being 5-2?
Not at all.
No,
It,
I was really wrong. Like, I usually am pretty alright at understanding coaches, but I was really wrong at with Zach Taylor. He's pretty good.
yeah, and so that's my thing. Is anything can happen from things we didn't see coming, and I think that the Lions have a very good chance at doing that. But I think more likely than not, Izzy's prediction is the realistic one. Why do I think that? Because this is also a very unproven team. No matter what your opinions are on Goff, he's unproven. Our receiver core will be completely unproven. We're gonna have a practically new receiver core. We're gonna have a returning injured
Mhm.
Cephas. Cephas is gonna be our top receiver again next season in terms of provability. And then you're gonna have an unproven St. Brown. Okay. So then we're gonna have to draft some players or sign some players. Okay. Depends on who we get. Unknown. We could make, who knows, maybe Brandon Holmes can work his magic and get Devontae Adams in the free agency. The defense, there's still questions at defense. The defense, as much as it's improved, it is not perfect. It's still ranked 25th. But we could get good corners. We could get good safeties. And there's a lot of good things that we could get that is a lot to like. And so I think playoffs are a possibility. It just depends on where draft spots are and who we can get in free agency.
Every time I look at the schedule, I'm like, yeah, we got this. But then when we go to that game day, I come to reality. It's just like that now.
Well,
Even
also think about this though. Also development, not just grabbing players. I mean, literally, we've seen the development of Quintus Cephas. Quintus Cephas was on pace to have like an 800-yard year. You know, imagine another year of Campbell, Lynn, and Glenn. Developing our players for a whole another year. That could lead to a lot more studs. Julian Okwara is the biggest example of a stud that's been developing. Julian Okwara, he's had
very
two
true.
straight games with sacks. He's got like 3 hits. I think it's 17 pressures already. We're getting a lot. Even Charles Harris. Like this. Imagine another year with all these players getting chemistry and working with the coach, and then adding free agents and draft picks. That's stuff to be excited for.
I think Izzy's favorite, Matt Nelson, is also developing really well. The GOAT, the
Oh
actual GOAT.
no. I mean, he did good against the Rams.
He was a good meme
Yeah,
for
for sure.
1 year.
I think we should just Taysom Hill, Matt Nelson, and make him play the entire O line and D line. Just see what happens.
Yeah, like who plays O line and D lineman? I think Izzy pointed it out like last season too. He's like Matt Nelson, real GOAT. Like if you can shut Khalil Mack down, you are the GOAT. He really did actually, didn't he? Like I watched a film on that on many like YouTube channels.
Yeah, he shut down Mac, and
Yeah,
then
he
I
was
guess he
doing pretty dang
forgot how to
good.
play. And he
Then
forgot how to play this year, I
Mr. Den,
guess,
how could you hate that man who shuts Khalil Mack down?
because he decided to suck every other game.
Yeah.
I guess.
I think we should put him back to defensive lineman.
I think we should. I'm just saying we should just have
He'll
some fun
play
with that
better than
man.
Brockers.
True. Dude,
If it's
Brockers has been kind of a disappointment. Like I thought he'd be a little bit better as a run stuffer.
because
Yeah.
he's not playing with Jared Goff's like replacement, maybe that's why. That
Maybe.
bad, like that played out so badly. Like I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
So guys, like now I do have a class at 8 p.m. So I guess I'll end the stream here. I want to
Alrighty.
I would like to thank Izzy that he actually joined and gave us 1 hour of his time. So thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
And
That's all
and
right.
and Mr. Den, of course, you as well. I was gonna launch myself with you as well, but you just had school to take care of.
Yeah, man. Sorry.
Well,
School,
I'll do
man.
more show with you guys for sure. And
Mm-hmm.
All right.
all right then, guys. It was great talking to you all, and I'll like talk to you again on the Discord.
All right.
All
See ya.
righty.
Peace, guys.
See ya.
Peace.